points about using a knife. Different things that a knife can do. You've got to remember that even very sharp knives against any degree of relatively robust clothing, so, you know, like fleece, hoodie, whatever, slashing people won't do very, very much. This is a really sharp knife, and I could do this kind of stuff to myself, and I'd get some grazes and I'd get some cuts. It might shred my shirt a little bit, but slashing a person with something that's not a big Chinese cooking cleaver, machete, a weapon that's got weight. If it's got weight, you can slash. If it does not have weight, and most knives, even knives you get to see with, you know, what might be Manda might take from his mum's kitchen to a London estate, won't have weight to it. It will be a light knife like you might have in a normal kitchen. So bear in mind that energies when using a knife, there are different energies to it. So the first is that if we are going to try and chop with a knife, you might just put your arm out. So our energy for a chop is what's known as a snap cut. And it means that the weight, there's no weight in this knife, so I have to put weight into the knife. Does that make sense? So I can't, this won't hurt now. If I'm going to cut through anything, I stand half the chance of cutting, and I need to put my mass, my shoulder and my hip all into this. You need, you know, the Filipino stuff's fine, but you guys aren't loincloth wearing, rice dieted, small skinny people. You know, you're all relatively robust human beings. Yeah? So if you're going to cut someone like Mark and Mark's size, that ain't going to do shit to Gustav the Giant, SS guard, ex-shot put member of East Prussia. It's not going to happen. You're going to cut him, you have to cut him. This makes sense. You have to put weight, your weight, into that knife. So I want you to think about it. Anytime you're cutting and slashing, you know, we are not knife fencing. Unless you're naked and really skinny, it ain't going to do nothing. Yeah? These are not heavy knives. Most knives aren't heavy knives. So there is chopping energy. Slicing energy might be that me and Mark are doing a big spazzy grapple. Ah! Right? My slicing energy has to be ripping this knife down. It's not enough to assume that you've got a razor sharp knife. If you, slicing energy is where I place it, and don't just softly place it, rip it. Make sense? Place it, rip it. This is where this slicing energy comes in. You're not a sushi chef. He's not a piece of fine Alaskan salmon. He's not going to fall apart. So if you're going to slice a man, get a bit of contact. Think of it like a saw blade. You know, when you're sawing something, you need a bit of groove. You need a bit of those teeth in the wood, don't you? You are sawing him. Think of sawing as opposed to slicing. It's the same end output. Makes a big gash through him, but you need some pressure. Because again, knives are light. So I need to add the grit and weight. Does that make sense? So you've got snap cuts. Energy of me into that. I need to add the chop. Slices. Now I get this in. And then also when we think of things like using the pommel or the butt of the knife, don't think hit, think crush, like you're crushing a bloody coconut. You know, you're not just tapping it with it. Move your body, move your hips. You're cracking it like a coconut. So think chop, slice, crack. When you're thinking of these things, it gives a bit of emotional relationship between what you're doing. So if we say cut, you end up doing this kind of really Southeast Asian nonsense. Okay, you're going to chop him, you're chopping him. You're going to slice him. Make sense? Because knives aren't razors. And even if you hone a razor sharp knife, think of World War II. Woolen clothes, jackets, coats, bottles, flasks, Bergens, rifles, ammunition pouches, grenades. Your ability and proclivity to slash stuff is going to be hard enough. Even against modern clothes, I would let most people with most knives take a slash at me in a decent fleece. Feeling pretty certain I'm not going to die. Stab, it will go through. Right, nobody's business. But you think about cuts, make sure that you add the chop. You are the weight in lieu of a big Chinese meat cleaver. Yeah? Make sense? So just think of your energies throughout this. You're going to slice, put a bit of pressure on, rip that in. You're going to cut all of your body. Hips, like you were throwing a cross, like you were throwing a hook, whatever you're doing. Right. Back back to drawing. Just bear in mind that most of the time you're using this is because your cover is blown. Yeah. I am such a radio operator. I'm pretending to fix stuff. They ask me a question using some technical language I don't understand. The jig's up, I'm going to fight. So I have to go from being normal to fighting. Yeah? This makes sense. It really does matter. Let's imagine now that I've gone to draw and Mark's been too fast and he's taken my space. As soon as he's taken my space, there is no point in me fighting over this knife just yet. I need to take away a bit of Mark's spirit, a bit of his fight, a bit of his spine. So, yes, I've done the right thing. I've tried to access the weapon, but Mark's just got to jump on me. Yeah? So what we're going to practice now, we're going to practice using a bit of unarmed. We're going to use that shin jab, the hard central part of your palm. We're going to jam it right under his jaw, that will over here. So he's compressed, whether it's his body, his hand, I don't really care. We've just not been able to draw it. What we're going to do, we're going to slam this bit, not the fleshy bit, this bit, bang, right under his jaw. So close that in the forearm, bang, it's going to smash into his chest. And then, once we do that, we're going to drop the fingers onto his eyes, and we might knee him right in the bollocks. The main point is, this isn't a push, it's a hit. It's designed to wibble his brain jelly and knock him out. Only if he's particularly robust in the brain jelly department do I need to go to the eyes. In reality, I'm smash it, I'll accelerate his head well enough, I'll knock him down or knock him out. But either way, I need to get used to, if he's got there too fast, I need to get used to smash this in, raise the elbow, always assume failure. If this works, you knock him out and knock him down. Always build in failure, that if this hasn't worked, raise the elbow, fingers on the eyes, right in the bollocks, give yourself that bit of space to access your tool. Make sense? But the whole point is to accelerate his head backwards so that his brain shakes in his skull. Now you can do this without, so this is a classic World War II unarmed combat move. But the idea would be, if I'm fucking around with a radio, my jig's up, he's crashed me, I'm no point me wrestling with Uber hands over this. Bang! Smash him up here, fingers on the eyes. Your job, bear in mind you're armed in this instance, is to make space. I don't need to finish him with an arm stuff here, because I've been smart enough to bring a tool. Make sense? So very quickly, allow the person to take your space, and then work in this chin jab. Yeah, you'll notice that I'm also flanking a little bit to the side. I'm not staying in Mark's kill box. I'm stepping and I'm jamming this in. Very tight. Fingers on the eyes, knee in the crackers, make a bit of space. Do it. Change your partners, give it a go.